The hidden World War II survival kit sewn into British uniforms. Genius tricks that, honestly, still work today. It sounds like a myth, but it's all true. During World War II, British pilots carried one of the most ingenious secret weapons ever designed. And, well, it wasn't a gun, a gadget, or a new kind of plane. It was their own clothing. Beneath the wool, leather, and brass buttons of the Royal Air Force uniform lay an entire survival system. Maps, compasses, saws, and even gold coins, all hidden so cleverly that even the enemy couldn't tell. This wasn't fashion. It was a masterpiece of wartime ingenuity designed to outwit Hitler's forces, when every second and every decision could mean the difference between capture and freedom. This was the brainchild of a secret British intelligence unit known as MI9, a team that honestly believed victory didn't only belong to those who fought, but also to those who escaped. Their job? To make sure no Allied pilot ever went down unprepared. From the outside, a British pilot in 1942 looked like any other airman: leather boots polished, blue wool tunic crisp, and cap tilted just right. But MI9 saw that uniform as something else entirely. A toolkit, a lifeline, a disguise for escape. Every button, every seam, every thread had potential. A button could secretly guide you north, a shoelace could unravel into wire, a silk lining could unfold into a detailed map of enemy territory. This was espionage sewn into fabric. When pilots flew deep over occupied Europe, they knew that one mechanical failure or flak burst could send them crashing into enemy territory. MI9 wanted them ready, not to fight, but to disappear. Their mission wasn't just to survive, it was to escape and return home to fly again. Behind this silent revolution in survival was a man named Christopher Clayton Hutton, a former journalist and stage magician who joined MI9 with a flair for deception. He understood the art of illusion, and in war, illusion could save lives. Hutton worked with luxury tailors, engineers, and even toy makers to create what looked like ordinary objects but carried hidden power. He designed magnetized buttons that acted as makeshift compasses when hung from a thread. He invented silk maps that could survive fire, water, and capture. He even turned razor blades into navigational aids that revealed hidden markings when viewed under polarized light. This wasn't just clever, it was revolutionary. While most nations armed their soldiers with weapons, Britain armed some of its men with ideas. One of the smartest MI9 inventions was the silk escape map. Unlike paper, silk didn't tear, rustle, or disintegrate when wet. Each map detailed train lines, safe routes, rivers, and escape networks across France, Belgium, and the Netherlands. Pilots could fold them into a coin-sized square or sew them into jacket linings. Some pilots, actually wore hollow boot heels containing gold coins or even these tiny saws. The coins, well, they could buy food or maybe persuade locals to lend a hand. Those little saws, they were sharp enough to cut through barbed wire or locks if it came to that. And even shoelaces, believe it or not, sometimes hid fine wire that could be used as a cutting tool. To the naked eye, it was just a uniform, but to the trained airman, it was really an entire escape kit, always on standby. If the uniform kit was MI9's first act of brilliance, then their next move was, honestly, pure showmanship. They actually used Monopoly boards, yes, the board game, to smuggle real escape tools into prisoner of war camps. Those boards looked completely harmless, but they were cleverly modified to hide silk maps under the playing surface. Real money beneath the play cash, and even compasses disguised as simple game pieces. It was genius in its simplicity, really. The enemy never suspected that a board game could be an escape route. Thousands of POWs across occupied Europe used these hidden tools in their attempts at freedom. That same creativity you see shaped the uniform kits. The entire concept rested on just one idea. The best way to hide something is, quite simply, in plain sight. Pilots weren't just given these tools, they were trained to use them with precision. Mi-9 instructors taught escape and evasion tactics that honestly rivaled modern survival courses. Pilots learned to navigate by stars, hide their tracks, and blend in among civilians. They practiced retrieving hidden items quickly and silently. They memorized local geography from their silk maps. Some even learned key phrases in French or Dutch in case they needed to seek help. For them, knowledge was as vital as any weapon. In one remarkable case, squadron leader John Mott used a silk map sewn into his jacket to navigate from southern France all the way to neutral Spain after being shot down in 1942. His story became legendary, and he credited Mi-9's hidden kit for saving his life. Now, you might be wondering, what can we learn from this today? Because while we've traded compasses for GPS and silk maps for satellites, the mindset behind Mi-9's designs remains timeless. Their first lesson was concealment. True preparedness isn't about carrying everything, it's about integrating survival into what you already wear or own. Modern versions of this principle exist everywhere. Paracord bracelets that double as fishing kits, belts with hidden pockets, phone cases that hold fire starters. Their second lesson was multifunctionality. Every item had more than one use. A bar of soap doubled as waterproofing. A button became a compass. A map could also serve as a bandage. It's a masterclass in thinking beyond the obvious, something every survivalist, soldier, or traveler can appreciate. And their most powerful lesson was mindset. Preparation isn't fear, it's foresight. The British didn't wait to be rescued. They planned for the worst and designed hope right into their uniforms. That's the kind of thinking that wins wars and saves lives. The Mi-9 kits are more than relics of clever design. They're symbols of human resilience. These small, secret tools embodied the courage of those who refused to surrender, even when surrounded by enemies. Today, many of these artifacts are displayed in the Imperial War Museum in London. You can see the silk maps, the compass buttons, and even the modified boots that carried freedom in their soles. They're silent reminders that sometimes the smartest weapon is the one your enemy never notices. Behind every invention, there was a belief that even in chaos, preparation creates power. That same principle fuels the spirit of modern survivalists and adventurers everywhere. Because survival isn't about luck, it's about being ready before the storm hits. When you really think about it, these hidden kits weren't just tools, they were promises. Tiny, hand-sewn assurances that if the worst happened, you still had a fighting chance. And in a world where most people hope for rescue, the British pilots of World War II carried rescue within themselves.